The mountain range sprawled before us, a vast expanse of pristine slopes promising untouched powder and unparalleled adventure. Stories of an ancient curse whispered among the locals, but my friends and I, fueled by adrenaline and the desire for the extraordinary, set out for a backcountry escapade. The sun hung low in the sky as we ascended a steep incline, the air thinning with every step. The thrill of the untouched snow beneath our skis was invigorating, but the shadows of the mountain loomed large. As we reached a plateau, an ominous rumble echoed through the valley, making us look at each other. Jake pointed to the snow-covered peaks above. "Avalanche!" he shouted over the wind, his voice barely audible. Panic set in as we surveyed our surroundings, searching for an escape route. The mountainside seemed to tremble with an unseen force, and before we could react, the wall of snow thundered down, a relentless force of nature consuming everything in its path. We skied for our lives, desperation fueling our descent. The world became a blur of white, the avalanche gaining on us with each turn. Just as we thought our fate was sealed, the mountain fell silent, the snow settling around us like a frozen sea. "Is everyone okay?" I panted, adrenaline coursing through my veins. We checked ourselves for injuries, a mixture of relief and disbelief in our eyes. The avalanche had stopped abruptly, sparing us from its icy grip. As we caught our breath, an eerie silence enveloped the mountain, broken only by the distant echoes of the avalanche. "That was too close," Sarah muttered, her eyes wide with fear, but the mountain seemed to hold its breath, as if acknowledging the close call. And then, from the stillness emerged faint whispers, voices lost in the avalanche centuries ago. The air vibrated with a haunting resonance, carrying the echoes of a tragic past. "Did you hear that?" Mark asked, his gaze fixed on the mountainside. The whispers grew louder, a chorus of voices that seemed to transcend time. We exchanged bewildered glances, unable to comprehend the spectral symphony unfolding around us. The mountain, it seemed, held memories locked within its snowy depths. As we continued our descent, the echoes accompanied us like ghostly companions. Each turn in the powder carried a chilling reminder of the mountain's past, a past that resonated with the tragedies of those who had ventured into its unforgiving embrace. That night, as we gathered in the warmth of the cabin, the avalanche's echoes still lingered in the air. We spoke in hushed tones, trying to make sense of the inexplicable. The mountain, it appeared, harbored a memory, a collective consciousness that had granted us a fleeting glimpse into its storied past. In the days that followed, the whispers persisted. The wind carried with it the voices of those who had faced the mountain's wrath, a solemn reminder that nature, though breathtaking in its beauty, could also be unforgiving. The echoes of the avalanche became a part of us, a story to be shared with each new group of adventurers who dared to venture into the heart of the mountain range. The backcountry escapade had become more than a ski trip. It was a communion with the spirits of the mountain. The avalanche's echo had etched a spectral tale into the very fabric of the slopes, a tale of survival, reflection, and the enduring power of nature's mysteries. The ski resort nestled at the base of the mountain promised excitement, but a sense of adventure led my friends and me to an abandoned trail leading to an old, dilapidated ski lodge. The air grew colder as we approached, and the once vibrant day took on a muted, eerie quality. Yet, curiosity propelled us forward. The lodge stood frozen in time, its windows shattered, and the wooden panels weathered by years of neglect. Undeterred, we entered, our boots echoing through the desolate halls. The air inside was thick with a bone-chilling cold that seemed to seep into our very souls. As we ventured deeper, a ghostly figure emerged from the shadows. It was frozen, translucent, and emitted an otherworldly glow. The temperature plummeted further, and our breath hung in the air like spectral mist. "Is that a ghost?" Mark's voice quivered as he pointed at the figure. A shiver ran down my spine, and Sarah hesitated before cautiously approaching the apparition. The ghostly figure beckoned us to follow, gliding through the darkened corridors with an ethereal grace. Reluctantly, we trailed behind, the only sound our hushed footsteps on the creaking floorboards. The specter led us to a forgotten room adorned with vintage ski gear and faded photographs. The air felt heavy with the weight of time. The apparition pointed to a picture on the wall, a group of skiers, frozen in a moment long past. Among them was our guide, the ghostly figure that now hovered beside the photograph. Mark squinted at the picture. "Wait, is that you?" The specter nodded, its face a mix of sorrow and nostalgia. A sudden gust of wind extinguished the feeble light in the room, plunging us into darkness. Panic gripped us as the temperature dropped even further. The ghostly presence seemed to dissipate, leaving us alone in the frigid silence. We fumbled for our flashlights, their beams revealing the abandoned relics. The room felt charged with a lingering energy, as if the memories of the past clung to the decaying walls. We stumbled out of the lodge, the ghostly encounter etched into our minds. The once forgotten trail now seemed ominous, the wind carrying with it a mournful howl. As we made our way back to the bustling resort, the specter's image haunted us, a silent reminder of the lives once intertwined with the mountain. That night, as we gathered in the warmth of our cabin, we couldn't shake the feeling that the mountain held more secrets than we could comprehend. The frozen specter had shared a piece of its history with us, a history that transcended the thrill of a ski trip. As we drifted into uneasy sleep, the ghostly presence lingered in the corners of our dreams. Years later, the memory of that encounter remains vivid. The abandoned ski lodge and the frozen specter serve as a reminder that even in the most unexpected places, the past can come alive, leaving an indelible mark on those who dare to explore the mysteries hidden in the shadows of the mountain. The moon hung low in the ink-black sky as my friends and I geared up for our last run down the mountain. The thrill of the day lingered, but an unspoken unease gnawed at the edge of our excitement. We decided to take the chairlift one final time, the cold metal beneath us and the night air biting at our faces. As we ascended, the laughter and banter faded into an uncomfortable silence. The only sound was the creaking of the lift, a rhythmic reminder of our ascent into the unknown. Halfway up, the lift shuddered to a sudden stop, swaying gently in the frigid breeze. "This isn't normal, right?" Jenny's voice trembled, her breath visible in the chill. "No, it's probably just a minor glitch. Happens all the time," Jacob reassured, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of uncertainty. We dangled there for what felt like an eternity, the shadows of the night enveloping us. That's when I noticed them, figures moving in the darkness beneath the lift. They seemed detached, like shadows with a life of their own. Panic settled in my chest. "Hey guys, do you see that?" I pointed into the abyss beneath us. Jenny squinted, and Jacob's expression tightened. The shadows were converging, forming an indistinct shape that seemed to mimic a face. As the wind picked up, the shadows whispered unintelligible words, sending a shiver down my spine. "I don't like this," Jenny muttered, her eyes wide with fear. The whispers grew louder, the cold air carrying words that felt like a long-forgotten language. The shadows twisted and contorted, creating an unsettling display. Then, they coalesced into a face that stared back at us with hollow eyes and a twisted smile. The chairlift jerked back to life, and we descended in silence. The shadows lingered, still whispering in the wind. We reached the bottom, disentangled ourselves from the lift, and stumbled onto the snow-covered ground. "What the hell just happened?" Jacob's voice wavered. "I don't know, but I felt like I was being watched." And those whispers. I trailed off, unable to shake the feeling that something supernatural had just transpired. We made our way back to the cabin, the events on the lift haunting our thoughts. That night, the wind outside carried with it the same whispers we heard on the mountain. Sleep was elusive, as if the shadows were still with us, lingering in the corners of the cabin. In the pale light of morning, we dismissed the previous night as a collective hallucination, blaming it on fatigue and the eerie mountain atmosphere. But as I strapped on my skis for another day of adventure, the memory of those whispers lingered, casting a shadow over the remainder of our ski trip. Years later, the haunted echoes of that night still resonate in my mind. The mountain had whispered secrets, revealing a side hidden from the thrill-seeking skiers. It was a reminder that even in the beauty of nature, there could be a darkness that defied explanation, a darkness that whispered from the shadows.